Hello everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do a layout using pictures taken at night. So I'm going to use Timeless Plaid, Everyday Skies, and a little bit festive. So I've got this sort of pool party colored plaid and this night sky paper. And then this sort of knitted paper as well. So the pictures I'm going to scrapbook are from right before Christmas. My husband and I went with my brother and my sister-in-law to see the zoolights. So we have pictures that, of course, were taken at night, and then we have all the zoolights around us. So they kind of have this purplish cast to them. And I did my best with trying to remove it for printing, but I'm just going to go with it, and I'm going to counteract that purplish color by using a green blue. So this is actually close to my heart glacier, but it's almost an exact match to pool party, so you can use that as well. So that will be my base, and then I'm going to use some of these 6x6 pieces of the plaid, and then these other two patterned papers. So I'm going to keep it relatively clean around the pictures with just a pop of some prints. So I'm not sure, I want to use these at a diagonal, and I'm not sure if I want to use the darker one closer to the photos or the opposite. So I'm just going to try it out, and this will remind you of a pattern. If you've used Close to My Heart, Make It From Your Heart books, this is close to pattern 15, but I have altered it in that the pictures are a different direction, but it's pretty close to that design. So that can help. So the first one, I've decided to use the darker blue pattern closer to the pictures. And I'm going to cut this at 5x5 into a square. And then I'll place it in my trimmer at a diagonal and cut point to point. So I'll have two triangle pieces, one for each side of the layout. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing with this knit pattern piece. And I'm going to cut this at 6x6. And then I'll cut two triangle pieces as well. And then the plaid pieces, I'm going to cut at 1.5 inches, and then I can hide the seam between the two pieces underneath my other triangles, so it will look like it's a full 12-inch length. This is a way to use those 6x6 patterns. Okay, so that is the base for my layout. And I've decided to use black as a mat for all of my photos. I've printed them with a white border, and I think the black will make them stand out nicely against that white border. And they'll pop a bit better against that glacier background. So this is the general layout. And a few of the pictures, they were tricky. They were taken with an older phone, and a little tricky to take nighttime pictures, but I am making them work. So, all right. So I feel like I need a little bling between that plaid piece in the background. So I have some shimmer trim. This is Bluebell. But go through your stash. You can also use a 1/2-inch strip of glitter paper. So see what you have that matches these blues, and you can use a strip of glitter paper as well. And then we'll go ahead and place that last triangle piece on top to build our background. We're keeping it relatively simple just because the pictures have lots of different colors, a lot going on. But that's the basic layout. Now we can decorate. So these are called tags for the season, and they have lots of different tags. Some have images printed on them, but several of them have just gold foiling. So I'm going to stamp out my title using this round tag. And I'm going to use this stamp from this set called Light the Year. And it says all is bright. So this Light the Year set, I'll use a lot more of the elements from it in a minute. It's currently on sale. It's in the last chance section, and I'll put links in the description below. So I also used a tag from Tags for the Season to do my journaling. So those are ready to go. And in addition to Light the Year, I'm going to use, I've stamped and die cut a bunch of these ahead of time. I'm going to use golden greenery, lots of the greenery and the dyes that match, along with some of these pine boughs. And I've also used this smaller die that's from Changing Leaves. And I have cut and colored a whole bunch of ephemera to create my embellishment clusters. So I've got pine boughs that are cut in old olive, both the dark and light side, also in gold foil. And then I've stamped and die cut these golden greenery images. I've used a base of old olive, and then I've stamped in old olive and also in Pretty Peacock. And then I've stamped and colored in a bunch of these lanterns from Light the Season. And I've used a couple of Stampinup watercolor pencils to color with. And I've just used them like colored pencils to color in around the candle and color the candle and the bows. And then I've also stamped out some pine cones. So I have a whole bunch of ephemera all ready to go. So to create bases for this ephemera, I'm going to cut some circles, and I've got Spotlight on Nature dies. And at first I was going to use some of this golden greenery paper, but then I decided to look at this beautiful bokeh. And I like that. It kind of reflects the light reflections and also the image that says zoolights. So I went with that, and I've cut 3 circles, 2 large and 1 medium. And I'm going to use those as a base for my ephemera. Deciding if I want the smaller one or the bigger one in that section. We'll go with the bigger one. And then we'll use this other one up there, just for a place for all the ephemera to kind of land. So now we can start putting things on our layout. So this is my journaling, and it talks about how we got together with my husband and I. We got together with my brother and my sister-in-law. We went out to J. Alexander's for dinner beforehand, and it was really yummy. And then we had tickets for zoolights. So after that, we went to look at all the zoolights, and Shannon convinced all of us to ride the carousel, and it was so much fun. Sometimes you got to be a kid again, right? And yeah, so the 4 of us, we rode the carousel at the zoo, and it was just a fun night. So we'll go ahead and start building our ephemera embellishment cluster. So I want my subtitle to go on the left page, and deciding which lantern. I like the one that I stamped out in Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to use those. And I'm just kind of building the cluster here. We'll get everything kind of laid out, and then I'll glue it all down off camera. So I want the lanterns to kind of rest on a bed of greenery. So I'm going to use these pine boughs. And some are the old olive and some of them are gold foil. And I'll wind up popping that smaller lantern with foam tape. I'm just going to keep tucking greenery in. I don't want to cover the butterfly picture because the wing goes right to the corner there. So I'm careful not to cover the picture. Sometimes if there's dead space on a picture, I'll bring the ephemera to cover a corner, but in this case I don't want to. So I'll just keep tucking things in and moving things around. And eventually, once I started gluing things down, I decided to change the location of the all is bright. I moved it down to below the lanterns. We'll add a bow to the lantern. And it's trying out the yellow one and the red one, and I decided that I liked the red one better. We'll keep working that cluster and add some pine cones. And yeah, okay. I like that. Now we can work on the right page. So I need a bed of greenery for my journal tag and another lantern to rest on. So we'll tuck some things in. And then off camera, I wound up extending that out a little bit with the greenery. But we'll get going here just to kind of build that cluster. And we'll keep adding pine cones, and I think that's where the tag's gonna rest. And we'll add a lantern. Yeah. Just kind of fuss with all these little bits. Just till I like where they are. It's starting to come together. And then I'll finish that off by adding a bow to the lantern. So I was looking for like a strip sticker or a strip sentiment or just something to add to that cluster that's above the picture of all of us. And I found this sentiment. It's part of the Mixed Media Florals, Memories and More pack. And I just want the sentiment that's part of this pocket card. So I've trimmed all around it and it says, "This is worth remembering." So I'm going to add that to my little cluster and we'll go ahead and build that. So just taping things down, we'll use tape runner and a combination of tape runner and wet glue to get everything down. So we'll just slide that circle in as a base, and then we can start building that little cluster. So go ahead and add some greenery and the pine cone. And then to finish it off, I want to add some bling. So I've pulled 3 to choose from. These are some snowflakes. These are antique pearls, kind of like those, or the cherry cobbler pearls. Maybe. I like the antique pearls. I think I like the way the color is against that glacier. So let's use those. So I'm going to scatter a whole bunch all around on both pages to finish everything up, and then I'll bring them close to the camera. So I have posted some close-up shots of this layout over on my Facebook page. The URL is at the bottom of your screen, and I'll put a link in the description below. So hop on over there, give a follow, and you can see some still shots and close-ups of this layout. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out, and I would sure appreciate it. And then you'll be able to find all of my videos. And thanks for watching.